Good morning, everybody. We are here today to learn about Dotloop. And in today's class, we are going to learn how to create pre-filled out listing forms that will allow you to create the forms that you need to take a listing even faster. Okay? What I'm going to do today is I'm going to go through this first and show you how easy it is to do this, and then we're going to go through it together. And at the end of the class, you should have a complete folder with all the documents you need to take a listing that will allow you to take a listing in literally 5 minutes or less. Starting off after logging into MyKW, we always know that we go to Start My Transaction. And for the first part of this class, I just want everybody to watch so they can see how I do it, and then we'll go through it all together. Is that okay? We start off by clicking on the templates on the menu up here. And after this loads, we create a new folder. So we will call it Listing Documents. After creating a folder, what we need to do is we need to add in the proper documents that we need to take a listing. What we do is when you do this is when you go to add a document, you have to find the folder that's here already that has the documents. For example, if you're a member of Main Street Organization of Realtors, you will click on the Main Street Organization of Realtors Interactive Forms folder. This will then open up the full library of forms available to members of Main Street. Now, the listing agreement is called the exclusive agreement. It's called the exclusive right to sell marketing agreement. And then what we do is it imports it into our actual folder. Then what we can do is during our class, we will import the rest of the documents that are needed. So that will include the radon disclosure, the lead-based paint disclosure, the real property disclosure, the radon pamphlets, and the lead-based paint pamphlets. After we would enter in all those forms, we simply click on the form that we're looking to edit. And this will allow us to add in the specific information about our brokerage. And we'll go through this document in more detail. So you can see this doesn't take that long to do this because I practically have done the whole entire listing and contract in a matter of a few minutes here. So I now have customized the listing document to enter in my specific information. Now, if we were to go and create a new loop, like we were starting a new transaction, because in Dotloop, a loop is a transaction, we'd simply go over to loops to create a new loop. We go to our templates section. If we did this correctly, our filled out listing agreement will now be displayed in our templates. And then we'll have, now we've just added in our loop. And what we will see is all the information that we've added now displays in the listing agreement. Right? So every time you do a listing agreement now, from now on, all the information will be correct. So now we're going to do this together. I believe everyone's logged into their MyKW account, right? And we're all in Dotloop. We've all clicked on transactions, my transactions. And then once you get on here, you need to click on the item at the top, click templates. And once we're in the template section, what we want to do is we want to click on the red bar that says new folder. Try that. Oh, no. Are you not able to get in?
No, I think I'm going to press it.
Okay. It's recorded, so you can watch it anytime.
Yeah.
Are you in our office Facebook group?
I'm sorry.
Are you in the office Facebook group?
Not. I didn't go to the Facebook yet.
Okay. Do you have a Facebook account?
I didn't start it yet.
Okay. Because I can send you the link to this after class, so you'll be able to get it.
Yeah.
So now that we're here, we're going to create a new folder. And I would just title the, I would title the folder something like blank listing presentation. A pre-filled out listing contract. Then a new folder. And after you get that, simply click create a folder. Now what we have to do is we have to add the documents in for our listing presentation or for our listing agreement. So what we'll notice is that there's 6 documents that we have to add in here. And I've written them up on the board, and they include the listing agreement, the real property disclosure, the lead-based paint disclosure, the radon disclosure, the radon pamphlet, and the lead-based pamphlet. So what we'll do in order to do this is we'll simply click on templates, and this will bring up a series of folders that have documents in it. So if you look on the left-hand side here, you will see all the folders that we have available to us. Okay, and if we come down, is everybody a member of Main Street here? Okay, if we come down here, we'll see one that says Main Street Organization of Realtors. On the left-hand side there, you just scroll down till you see the one that says Main Street.
Oh.
Okay, so for the first one we're going to do is the listing agreement. So we're going to search by right to sell. And if we scroll down, you'll see there's the residential right to sell marketing agreement. Okay, so if we type into the search thing, right to sell, scroll down and we'll find the one that says residential exclusive right to sell.
I don't have it.
Once we select that, we're going to click copy. Okay. And it should say, you should get a screen here that says one of one imported. You might have to scroll down and click OK. Now, if we look back on this screen, what we'll see is that on our page, we'll see the name of our folder at the top here, and then we'll see the right to sell marketing agreement. We are now going to add the next ones simultaneously so that we don't have to do this one at a time. So we'll start by doing the same process. We're going to click on templates. And then we're going to search for we're going to click on our folder of Main Street Organization of Realtors. And then we'll search for real property. All right, since that one didn't work too well, let's search for radon. And what we'll see is we'll see both the radon disclosure form, and then we'll also see the radon testing guidelines for real estate. And then we'll copy these two in there. Okay, the next one we can look for is the lead-based paint, which will go into the Main Street Organization of Realtors. So we'll see the lead-based paint disclosure, Main Street, down here, more 6019. And then we'll also see the IAR lead-based paint manual. And we will click copy on those two.
What was the first item?
Yeah, one was the actual 6019. You can use that one as well. They're all the same, so
Okay.
I guess you can select that one. Doesn't matter who it's different. Trying to find out where we have the lead-based paint. I mean, the real property disclosure. Okay, doesn't appear to be in here, so we're going to have to work on making sure it gets in here. I apologize. All right. So if you're here, let's click on the X button. This will get out of here. So now we should be able to go in our documents here. And what I like to do is I like to arrange them a little bit better. So I put the right to sell marketing agreement there. I put the manual and the real estate testing guidelines on the bottom. And I keep the two disclosures in the middle. What we can do is we can click right on the residential exclusive right to marketing agreement. And then what we'll do is we'll go through together and fill out the information that's pertinent to this listing agreement. Simply click on the name. Okay. As you go through this document, you may want to enter in specific items. It's completely up to you. So one thing you might want to enter in your commission if you have a standard commission that you charge to every agent, I mean to every person, so that if you were to send them this agreement for them to review ahead of time, you would have that potential commission in there and they could read the document over before signing it if you knew you were going to go maybe on a listing or presentation ahead of time, and then you wouldn't forget to add that in there. One thing that some of the top teams do is they keep all their expiration dates on 1 or 2 days of the year. Bruce Hardy from the Spokane, Washington area shared with me that all his contracts either just expire on June 30th or December 31st. So that might be a strategy you choose to employ, and you can change any of this information at any time. On line 31 here, you could simply type in your name here. Then we'll also see there's the dual agency on 71. If you don't do dual agency, you can click no. That's up to you. You can let the seller choose as well. In paragraph 11, which is line 94, we have the brokerage fee. So you have the opportunity to enter in a fee, which you can always change on a transaction specific basis, but you have the opportunity to edit in here so that it may work to allow you to not forget this. I have seen agents that were in a hurry that they filled this part out wrong, and then they didn't get the commission that they thought they were going to get. But since the agreement was filled out wrong, they had nothing to be just upset about. And if you have special compensation information, you can enter it on line 109. The one I would advise you to check is on line 154, is put the seller or the seller's attorney will make the necessary arrangements for title insurance, since we do not, as agents, deal with title insurance as far as ordering it. Now, if you do home warranty, this might be the part where you would enter in the home warranty on line 175 to 176. So if you make that a part of your program when people list with you, this would be the time to enter it. Then you can explain it to them right in the contract. So since our office holds earnest money, I would suggest you click on line 245, since we are the listing office in this particular example. And you may want to enter in the terms if somebody's going to lease a property, you may want to enter this in now on line 290, in paragraph 28, lines 294. So this talks about if instead of selling the property, they decide to lease it, authorized to get paid for a lease commission. You don't use this if you're both listing it for sale and for lease. This would only be in a matter if someone were to lease it instead of selling it. Okay, and if we go down to the last page, you have to enter in the appropriate information. Our zip code is 60074. Our office phone number to the front desk is 241-2200. Our office fax number is 241-2205. Email address would be your email address. Okay. Once you get done with all this information, simply click Save in the top right corner. Everybody done editing their agreement? You guys need a few more minutes to edit? You guys get all your information in the last page there? Everybody good then, I'm assuming? You get a hand there? You're okay. You're good? All right. So what we're going to do is on the top left corner, there's going to be a red arrow. We're going to click this red arrow up here, and we're going to exit the screen. It's a little bit hard to see. It's in the top left there. Yeah. Then we're going to scroll up to the top, and you'll see this icon that looks like a kind of smiley face with no eyes. We're going to click on that icon in the menu. That's the loops menu. Now, we're going to create a fictitious contract like we were using the system to create a listing agreement. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a loop. All right. Name of your new loop. I put some information on the board here, so I'm just going to call it 123 Main Street. Palatine, Illinois 60074. So I just did 123 Main Street, and I'm clicking create a loop. Okay, so we should have all created a loop. Is that everybody created a loop? Looks like everybody at 123 Main Street. The next thing we will do in this example is we're going to add a person. Okay, so in this example, we're going to add Bob Pryor, and we're going to add Bob Pryor at gmail.com, and we're going to put the role, select a role for that person of being the seller of the property. Okay. Was everybody able in the process of editing?
I messed up somehow, so
Okay.
I started with him.
All right, so type in an address. What happened to the loop that you just had?
I don't know.
So I'm entering in the information. All right, so I've entered in all the information about the seller. Actually, even though I call him Bob Buyer, he's the seller in this case, right? So after that, we're going to click Add Person.
What is the role?
Should be seller. I should not have called him Bob Buyer if he's a seller. So. Okay. Now, when we add that information about Bob, that's his current address, right? So that's just that information stays with Bob. What we want to do now is we want to add that information to the actual transaction. So what we can do here is if we come back after we get done editing all that information about him, we can simply scroll up and we're going to click on View Details. So here's where we can enter. This will pin the property data or the street address to this actual selling agreement or listing agreement. So after we get adding the specific information, we want to scroll all the way down and click Save.
I do this right.
One thing to point out is if what Google will try, or what Dotloop will try to do is it will try to match the address with an existing address. I choose personally to just type it in all myself. So that's why it says search by address or MLS number. This is more effective for when we're doing buyer's contracts. And we're actually writing a contract to find the house potentially listed on the MLS. It will potentially pull the listing agent's data. But I'm always one that for a listing agreement, I want to type in all the information myself to make sure it's correct. So you just basically start by clicking each field here. And then when you get done, click to the next field. And I also put a parcel ID number in here in the county.
I'm not sure how you got there.
Okay, scroll down, it says people. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry. View details. So once you're here, once you're done and you've entered in all the property information, click Save. Now there's a couple different ways to do what we're doing in Dotloop. So depending on the different trainer that does this might teach you slightly different. I find that this is the most reliable way to get the desired results to do it for me. And this is how I started with the platform when it was launched probably 6 or 7 years ago. And as it's changed, some things have been made easier. I've always found this way to work properly. All right, so everyone's done. Click Save already. Then we're going to scroll back up. And we're going to click on the top, on the left corner here where it says Back to Loop. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the templates that we've just created. So we're going to add the documents that we need to complete a listing agreement. We're going to click on templates. Then we're going to find the folder that we just created that have the templates in it. So it should be like pre-filled out listing contract. When you select that, you should see all the documents in there that we just worked on. So after you open the folder, click select all, and then click copy. And it's going to import those documents into this transaction. Okay, click OK, Catherine. Now, if we go to open up the first one, what it's doing is it's just asking us to verify all the people in the transaction. So I want to add myself as the listing agent, right, or yourself. And then it'll ask you, just asking you to verify the property details. If everything is correct, you can click autofill. So what you will now see is this contract has auto-filled all the information out, right? So it's put Bob Byers' name in the seller. Bob Byers put his address in there. It's put the title of the page, or I mean the address of the property on the bottom of the page. It's automatically assigned him the ability to initial on this document. And as you see, it forces him, it auto assigns the parts that he has to check and to do in the document. And if we come down to the last page, we will see it has all his information in here. So it has Bob's sign here, it has his mailing address. The only thing it doesn't quite copy over for some reason is the phone. So you'll have to add that in there. Has everybody seen the same thing happen for them? The information all populate pretty well? Did it work for you, Catherine?
I think so.
I'm stuck with the. I can't find where the templates are saved.
Okay, so you have to, when you click on the templates there, right in the middle, templates. Then you have to click the folder that you just created a folder. Scroll down maybe, new listing maybe, is that what you want to title the folder is? And click on the new listing. Where it says new listing on the left hand side. Now it should have all your documents. You can hit select all right here, and then it should select them all.
Did you say to add yourself as the listing agent?
I'm sorry?
Did you say to add yourself as
Oh, you can. You can add yourself as a listing agent. You can do that. If you forget to do this in the step, you can always go back and do it from the loop page. But you want to do that before you send it to the client. So we're not going to cover quite that much. I'm just showing you how it works. Because if we did this correctly, when we go to the other documents in the loop,
Where did you get that?
what's that?
That chair.
So all I'm doing is I'm exiting out of the loop right now. So I just click on this right here. I'm going to click save. It might ask you to save first.
This is yours.
Yes, you can see here. Now, if we click on the lead-based paint disclosure in this example, if I've chosen the right form, right, it'll enter in that person's information right in here again. So it's added the proper information for the lead-based paint, and you'll see that this will be the correct information for every listing if you do it this way. Now, for example, in this particular case, what you will see is I forgot to add myself as the seller's designated, and I actually added Bob as a buyer, not a seller, right? So I kind of made a mistake here. So the easy way to do that is just to simply, and if I've accidentally assigned the role to somebody else, is just go through the document and then just align this to no one, or I can select, do it to the actual. So what I did was I made a mistake here. So what I would do is I would go back when I launched the document, right? So what I accidentally did was, because this document has both purchaser signatures and seller's signatures, I didn't need to add the seller here. It's automatically done here. See how it says can be signed by seller, Bob, buyer, which I should have picked a different name. So it was already automatically chosen. What it was asking me to do was to add the buyer's information, and I did it incorrectly. But now if I have like the seller's designated agent and I need to add that, I can simply click here and I can assign myself if it's not assigned properly. That makes sense to everybody? I think we're kind of done here. The next class that I have for Dotloop is for anybody that either missed this class. I'll be doing both the first class that I did last week and this class as well. For most of you guys, it seems like you've already got the documents pre-filled out. There may not be the need to come back again, since it's going to be reviewed the same information. Is that okay? Any questions? Yes. Let me go, sir. Okay, you go first.
I got my problem here, the caps lock. That's why I couldn't get in.
Oh, the caps lock.
Yeah, but I was able to, and I got my notes.
Okay.
So
And we'll work on getting a copy of the video, so you can, if you want to watch it at home, you can.
Now, on the contract here,
Yes.
For managing broker signature, it
Right.
said no one.
So no one.
So we have to.
So what we're doing right now is, as an office, we're investigating the best practice on how we're going to do this, right? So if you wanted to add the managing broker, like we could do that at the beginning of the transaction. I find that this is the best way to do it.
Mhm.
Simply go to add a person. Since I have Lisa, our managing broker, is in my account, I'm just going to add them as the managing broker down here. Right. So when I do that, it auto assigns the role to everybody in the loop. Okay. So I find that's better to do that in the actual loop thing than in the specific document. Any questions, thoughts, or concern before we kind of end this one, and I'll stick around and answer any questions you guys got. Is that okay? Okay.